The CEO of Gevo has just released a fireside interview and has dropped some incredible bombshells. And after what I heard, I bought even more Gevo stock. Hi everyone, it's Marco here, so let's dive straight into it. Now, first of all, there is gonna be an incredible update on Net Zero One, and that's the first bit that we're gonna have a look at now. And also there is gonna be a massive contract coming through, and that's not been released yet. And so the first question was, is the engineering for Net Zero One on target for the end of the year?
You're still on target for the end of the year for engineering.
Yes.
So that would mean that the budget's set, you'd be hiring people at that point, which after that you would go out and raise the money from the debt side.
And so we got a bunch of optimization stuff that we're doing. But overall, I'm pretty pleased, actually surprisingly pleased with it. And Citigroup, of course, is paying attention to everything we're doing. And so all that stuff has begun already. So I feel pretty good about it.
And so not only the engineering of Net Zero One is on target for the end of the year, which is incredibly bullish already, but then they have already started hiring people for that plant. And to be honest, it was even in the news and it came out a few days ago. Tony Wells joins Gevo as general manager of Net Zero One. But then Pat said that it's gonna be even more people. They're actually hiring way more people for Net Zero One. So this is actually progressing very well. And now the next bit is still gonna be about Net Zero One, but this time we're gonna get a breakdown of all the financials once the site is gonna be up and running and actually churning out money for us investors. And the first bit is gonna be the revenue of Net Zero One. So let's see what Pat has said.
Right, so it's going to be an off-balance sheet financing as a project. So it's a separate company. Right now it's planned to be wholly owned. All the equity is held by Gevo Incorporated. That plant we still expect would have an EBITDA of plus 100 million bucks at the plant level.
And so for Net Zero One, we're gonna have 100 million plus of EBITDA, which is actually very good, guys. It's just for one plant, and we know that there are so many other plants in the pipeline. That's something I'm gonna tell you later in the video because they have so many orders coming through, guys. This is gonna be insane. But what's really good is that the very first plant, and we already have this kind of revenues. This is insane, guys. This company is gonna explode. I know today, the time of recording, the stock is down. I don't care. So moving on, we are actually looking at the income for Gevo because Net Zero One is gonna be a separate site, basically off the balance sheet of Gevo. So all the money that is generated by Net Zero One will actually be given to Gevo as kind of income, basically. And that's the kind of question that Pat has answered for us.
So the distribution is going to be, that's EBITDA. So after you do, debt and all the rest, maybe it's like 65, 70 million bucks or something coming back to Gevo Inc. as a distribution.
And so after all the costs and the tax, Net Zero One will actually give Gevo $65 million. That's not bad for the very first plant, guys. This is what we have to actually keep our sight on. It's just gonna be the very first one. And then Net Zero 2, Net Zero 3, this company is gonna explode. It's basically a small giant that is growing. Obviously, by the end of this year, we're gonna kickstart this plant, Net Zero One. And then next year, we're gonna start on Net Zero 2. And oh my God, sorry, I wanted to keep it for later in the video, but yeah, it's gonna start Net Zero 2 next year. But we are Gevo holders, and what's really important for us is to know how much actually profit there is gonna be after all the costs of Gevo. We want Gevo to be a profitable company. And so to work out how much money we're actually gonna have as a profit at the end of the year is gonna be the cost of the Gevo main office, let's call it SG&A, that kind of stuff. And that's what Pat has given us. It's gonna be a kind of ball game type of figure, but that's very interesting. Let's have a look at the video.
Our business, our base business, holding a full staff so we can develop lots of projects, do the things we're doing, call that 20 to 25 million a year kind of a thing.
And so the cost of this office is going to be 25 million, guys. That's actually incredibly good. That's very low. And so let's do some rough math then. 65 million of income from Net Zero One. So then 25 65 is the cost, so we are gonna put in our pocket as profit. I wouldn't expect to have any taxes at all, because obviously this company has been going on for years, not making much money at all. So we can actually assume, I guess, very safely to have at least $30 million worth of profit for 2022. So that's what we're talking about, guys. That's why I'm so pumped. But there is even more. This is not even the biggest thing that I wanted to tell you in this video. Now we've been through all the stuff about Net Zero One. The next bit, as I told at the beginning, is going to be about the new contracts coming through for Gevo and everything that is gonna be growth in the long run. And if you've enjoyed this video so far, I make video updates on Gevo on a weekly basis so that you stay always up to date on this stock that is gonna really explode very soon, and this company as well. Now, unfortunately, I had a problem with the video at the beginning of the recording. I actually missed that bit, but basically Pat said that they have already orders for about 45 billion gallons a year, and that's an awful lot of volume for a startup, basically, because they haven't produced anything yet. They are actually just making small batches to kind of give some proof of concept, which is actually not there yet. That's something I'm gonna discuss later in the video. But to have so much interest and all this demand, basically, obviously that is not all being fulfillable by Net Zero One. That's something that they will need more plants, and that's why earlier in the video I told you that they're gonna start on Net Zero 2, but they're actually already working on filling up the demand of Net Zero 3. This is actually insane. We are already looking at Net Zero 3, guys. Net Zero 2 is already, basically, we already have the demand for that, so that's already money in the pocket almost. Obviously, there is the problem with the financing. That's probably something that if I were you, and I am you basically, I'm a Gevo holder myself, I would keep obviously an eye on it. I don't want them to keep diluting the stock as they've done in the past. Obviously, they are starting out, guys. We need to think of that. But hopefully, they're gonna get some customers on board to get obviously some of the equity off their hands. And this way, they would also have partners and we wouldn't have to get the stock dilutions. And in just a second, I'm gonna tell you the new contract that is coming through, guys. This one is gonna be insane. But first of all, I wanted to tell you that the CEO of Gevo, and again, even this one, I didn't record Pat saying it, unfortunately, but he basically said that in terms of competitors, Gevo is still first in its class, because basically they have this technology that is very clean and very, very efficient to produce jet fuel from carbohydrates, which is something that at the moment no one is doing. Absolutely no one. But now let's move on to the big new contract that is coming through, and in this case, Pat, it dropped such a massive bombshell all of a sudden, and I'm so pumped because obviously the company is gonna be already profitable, but now we even have a massive customer even giving us even more business.
Praj, we work with them pretty closely on, we have a project in the works. We just haven't announced it yet. It's a related to Laverne with them, and that'll be interesting for people. And for us, it's from a practical thing, and then they're continuing to work on developing the isobutanol and hydrocarbon business in India.
And if you want to know more news on Gevo stock, watch this video. The video on the screen right now are more news on Gevo stock, so click on the video.